Hello, assalamu alaikum everybody. Hope you're all safe, sound and healthy. And I'm not at all in a good mood. And it's, Eid holidays have started. The banks are closed. And trust my bank to cause me an inconvenience and unnecessary tension during these holidays because they have a very conveniently timed issue that seems to just come around every single time it's the holidays, every single time it's Eid, every single time, especially when it's Eid. Either it's this Eid al-Azha, or it is the Choti Eid that comes after Ramzan. It doesn't matter, but that is the time when all of us customers tend to face potential fraud and scams, because this is a very good time for the bank to issue the matter, because they claim that they're on holidays and they're closed and they're shut down, and then very conveniently when they open up, it's enough for them to not take responsibility, to put the blame on the customers, or to just again evade any and all accountability. And this is why I always say blame the banks, and this is why I blame the bank, and this is why I suspect my own bank whenever I am the victim of a potential fraud. Like, remember the last time when there was this huge fraud that happened, in which I lost a huge amount of my money, in fact almost all of it. And the only reason I managed to recover half of it was because half of it was very luckily for me spent on an online shopping site that obviously is an international online shopping site, so no questions asked, they returned my money. But those other Pakistani organizations that got my money, not a single one of them returned it, not a single one of them helped me, not a single one of them cooperated with me. And that includes your microfinancial, yes, your microfinancial organizations, which are your telecommunication organizations like Telenor and Mobilink. And, despite the fact that the State Bank of Pakistan, when they started the investigation, they sent me the details that these are the different microfinancial banks that have your money. And not a single one of them returned my money, not a single one of them took responsibility. This is the difference between dealing with Pakistani organizations or banks or companies as opposed to dealing with international companies, obviously. And now, once again, it's holidays, and very conveniently today is supposed to be the 6th. Now, today is when the bank starts its holiday. Look at the convenience, okay? Just look at the conveniently timing and the conveniently timed situation here, okay? Today is the 6th. The bank's closed from today. And today at 7 o'clock in the morning, I receive money from an unknown sender into my account. And we all know that nowadays there's this scam going on where you receive money from unknown senders, and then when you try to do something about it, like try to issue a complaint or initiate a return or something, then or if you fail to try to get the money out of your bank immediately, then suddenly your bank account gets frozen. Well, since my bad experience with Allied Bank, I've removed almost all my money there. And you know what? This is the reason why I say people are inherently selfish. It doesn't matter who it is, even if it's your parents. Despite the fact that I suffered such a huge loss, and my parents knew that I was so disillusioned that I actually was contemplating closing my account with Allied Bank, what did my dad go and do? He tied my account to an investment portfolio. Okay. He knows that I have lost trust with the bank. He knows that I want to close down my account. But because he wanted to continue doing business, and he wanted, my account to easily transfer money, because if I shifted to another bank, then obviously that meant that if any time he had to transfer money to my account, then obviously that costs you. I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking. He was probably thinking that I don't care what it is that these business people think, but in my opinion, business people are the most stupid people when it comes to money matters, as far as I'm concerned. No wonder businesses are always running on debts in this whole world. Anyway, I mean, when you look at the business mind, and then you look at my mind, and then you probably think I'm the fool here, but I'm sorry, I think businessmen are fools, because I don't care how it is that they try to do their businesses or what it is that they see. I see my long-term losses, and I see my long-term gains. Okay. And what I see is that it is a long term loss for me to continue to stick with the Allied Bank system. Okay. And that is why I moved most of my money to another bank. And just because of my dad tying me down, despite the, again, you see, what I'm just looking at is the fact that it means at the end, as you know, they say actions speak louder than words. So to me, the actions of my dad tying me down to this bank that he knows I've lost trust in, you know, and tying me down to an investment which I don't even have any interest in, and which I don't even use, because at the end of the day, it's a shared investment, which means it's basically his. So I'm just tied down for no reason, and I'm thinking, what the fuck am I doing here? And I'm quietly suffering. I'm really suffering because I once again have to compromise on my principles because of my family, because of my parents. This is the toxicity that is Asian family system, okay? This is what makes the Asian society so toxic. This is what makes Asian family system so toxic. And that is the fact that that the child has to always constantly sacrifice and compromise, and the parents are always complaining about how the children are, not doing anything for them, and how they have done so much for their children, not even realizing that they cause their children career losses, they cause their children financial losses, they cause their children loss in life, because their children can never move forward. In Asian societies, you've seen the children literally cannot move forward in life. They cannot become highly successful. The only way you can be very successful in life is when you cut yourself off from your family, you leave them, you become the selfish person, and then voila, you've got something going for you. Otherwise, you're stuck. You're stuck for life, like a guinea pig on a wheel. Seriously, that's your life. And in any way, the point is that I already have lost my career. I've lost everything. I've lost my goals and everything. I sacrificed everything, came to this godforsaken hellhole. And then I once again have to compromise on my principles and stick to a bank that I have no trust in. And this is a bank that literally forces me, every single time I write a post against them on LinkedIn, they literally call the branch manager, who in turn tells the branch assistant manager to call me or to come to my house and to try to force me to delete my posts. Yeah, this is what Allied Bank does. Whenever customers, especially customers as old as I've been banking with this mofo bank for the past 30 years. Okay, I have been banking with this freaking a-hole bank for 30 years, and this is what I get. This is what I get banking with them. I get incompetence, I get inefficiency, I get unethical business practices, I get unprofessional attitude. The reason I'm pissed off is, as I said, I've just received money from an unknown sender, very conveniently timed, at the same day that the bank is off. And you're trying to tell me that the bank is not involved? Yeah. Considering my past experience with this bank, the bank is definitely involved. It is the bank that screws its own customers. And how do you know that? Not a single one of their employees, if ever identified, even at the head office, and they're usually at the head office, and they have aiders and abettors in the branch, usually in the form of the managers or the management or whatever. This time you cannot blame the manager because he's pretty new and he's somebody that is known. But normally, before, till date, that is how it has been. Whenever it has been somebody at the headquarters involved, somebody here in the management. And at the end, what do when all the complaints pile up? Because believe me, at this area, anybody and everybody who's banked at this area, at this branch, they have all suffered lakhs and lakhs of losses, and not a single one of them could recover their money. Okay, not a single one could recover their money, save a few in which we had to literally involve the cyber team, and we had to, the ISI cyber team and all. This is how people got their money, and that even not usually just partially. As in my case, it was partial. So here we are sitting again. Once again, it's Eid, and once again, many of us are probably getting scammed like this, where unknown senders are. How is it that these unknown senders know my account details enough to send money into my account, but I don't have their account details, and my bank doesn't have their account details? How is that? How is that? And you know what? And then they always say, "Oh, call the 24/7 helpline." Fuck you. The only thing that we get whenever we call the 24/7 helpline is chatter, 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 chatter. Give your CNIC number, chatter, 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 chatter. What's your mother's name? Chatter, 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 chatter. What is this? What is that? What is that? Identify yourself. And then at the end, after all that you've gone through, in which, by the way, you have to enter your CNIC, you have to punch the code on the keypad 3 billion times, because guess what? Just a slight seconds worth of delay while punching in your CNIC number, and the recording begins. I'm sorry, you have punched in the incorrect number. Please try again. Seriously? We're not machines. We're human beings. It takes time for a human being to punch in the code, no matter how fast you are. And you know what? Even though the person was thinking that it was my fault, I'm like, okay, you do it. And when he tried to do it and he did it in automated, okay, and it still failed. We still had to try it 4 more times before it went through. Yeah, the fault was mine, was it? I was punching in too slow, was I? Yeah. What happened to your automation that just whizzed through the keypad and still didn't get through? This is what we're dealing with. And then when we post about it, then ABL sends a horde of team calling you, coming to your house, messaging you and telling you, oh, please delete that post. Please delete that post. Otherwise, we will get fired. Like, seriously, am I supposed to care about your jobs when you're not caring about my money? The reason why you're always deducting money from my account is for so-called services that I never get. Like, I don't get your accountability. I don't get your responsibility. My money isn't safe in your account. I don't get any services that when I'm calling the helpline in order to initiate a return because, okay, the banks are closed, but the helpline is open. Can you at least initiate a return? Oh, no, you will have to go to your branch. If I had to go to my branch to get all this done, tell me, why am I wasting my time talking to you? No, explain that to me. Why did I have to punch in my CNIC? Why did I have to go through the motions of identifying myself only to hear that I have to go to my local branch in order to initiate a return? Why did I just waste my money? Yeah, because these calls are not free, by the way. Why did I just waste my money calling you on your helpline? And why did you waste my time only to tell me that you cannot do anything about it? So 4 days will pass, and if in those 4 days I suffer any damage, any loss, the bank is not going to take responsibility. And if this is, again, because of my parents, I'm once again compromising on my principles, and I'm stuck with this godforsaken bank. Whereas when I was living alone in a different country, in having my own life, where nobody was allowed to interfere or interrupt or bring their own jackasses into my stuff, then you know what? Any bank that would even show me the slightest bit of incompetence, I would shut down my account there and then, and I would never bank there again. If there is a shop that I'm not satisfied with, I will never shop there again. If there is a bank that has pissed me off, I never bank there again. It's as simple as that. I don't go back to a place where I have lost trust, or I don't go back to a place where I've noticed that there's no satisfaction. I'm not getting my money's worth. But here, because I'm in Pakistan, living in Pakistan is as if you're living in a bloody pind, it's as if you're living in a bloody freaking village where, it's as if you're living in the 1920s, where you have to think about your parents and you have to think about their reputation, and then you have to think of, nobody thinks about anybody's do my parents think about my reputation, about my principles, no. And it's always, people like me who get stuck in this, because for example, if you look at my siblings, they don't give a hoot. They're all doing whatever they want, and because they're all very selfish and they're all doing whatever they want, my parents, they're hands off. They don't listen to us. So because I am listening to them, because I'm always helping them, because I'm always there for them whenever shit hits the fan, so that's why I have to bear losses. Isn't it supposed to be the other way around? Isn't it supposed to be that the black sheep of the family are supposed to be the ones that should be pulled in, grabbed by the throat, throttled, and they're the ones who are supposed to, take responsibility? And that, people like me who are already responsible and who are, trying to make our lives, we should be left the fuck alone. Isn't that how supposed? That's why I say 99% of Asian parents, first of all, they don't even deserve to be parents. And second of all, they have failed. In fact, it doesn't matter if you're Asian parents or European parents or American. I've seen them all. You have failed at parenting. It's as simple as that. You have failed. Just the way our banks have failed, because the whole point of a bank is to keep your money safe. You're paying the bank to keep your money safe, but the bank is not keeping your money safe. No, the bank very conveniently always seems to have a holiday whenever there's a scam going around. And then very conveniently, they come back and they say, oh, this has happened and that has happened and this has happened and we can't do anything about it. And why do you have a freaking helpline when it can't help you? That's what I want to know. Another way to earn money, is that it? People should call you, and then they pay for the calls, and you waste their time. Though how are you earning money in the process? I don't know. Unless you have some sort of a partnership going on with the telecommunication services. I don't know. In Pakistan, well, now it's the whole world. In the whole world now, nobody's honest. But in Pakistan, nobody was ever honest. Let's be honest here. Okay? And I have just had it. I've freaking had it till here. I've had it till here. This is another Eid of mine that is going to... Not that I've ever had good Eid since I've come back to this hellhole. But you know what? This is another Eid of mine, or another 3 days worth of holidays that I am going to be living under stress and tension. Once again, only in Pakistan can you have constant unnecessary tensions, and none of them are created by you. That's the amazing part. And if you're listening, if you can actually hear some background sounds of, goats, yeah, after all, this is Bakra Eid, So everybody's got goats, we've got goats. But let me tell you one thing. I personally have come to this conclusion that if I ever, which will never happen now because I've sacrificed my entire youth and my middle age is also basically going through for my family. And so there will never be a time when I will have my own life or when I'll actually get my life back. But, if I ever lived my own life, I can very safely say I wouldn't sacrifice an animal, even for God. I've reached to this conclusion now that everything is all fine and dandy, but the kind of world that we're living in, yeah, I wouldn't do anything for anybody, not even God. Well, this is me signing out with Hafiz.